There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of Cairne.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yes, indeed. I am thrilled to see you all here again. How is everyone?
Doing good.
Good.
More or less.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm glad to see you all. The Uki and listener will be with us shortly, so you guys hang in there watching at home if you don't see them lighten up right away. The new overlay does tattle on everyone who doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Which I get a kick out of.
But, at least we know, who to expect.
Oh, no.
When it's not, just static portraits. It's it's like, oh, well, where's Uki? Where's listener? When their portraits are right there and they may not be in yet, so.
Well, when we get to Twitch Millions, we'll have fully animated VTuber avatars for everyone.
Hell yeah.
Professionally drawn and animated in real time as we play. Because Twitch Millions will let us spend ridiculous money. We will hire top scientists from NASA to do the work for us. And Mexico will pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when you're dropping $4,000 on an avatar, yeah, you're gonna need it.
But yes, we are here. We are live, and I am so happy to see you all. Ghinkgo, thank you for the 18 months, which is amazing. You are a hardcore fan and viewer and player and content creator yourself.
No, I don't create anything. I just shitpost.
That takes a lot of creativity. Don't sell yourself short. I'm going to get this out of the way real quick and give a shout out to our sponsor, starting with Found Familiar Coffee, the caffeinated beverage of choice for gamers everywhere. If you need to wake your ass up, Found Familiar's got your back. So be sure to use code FEATHERFALL at checkout for 10% off of your purchase. And as I type this out, let's not forget Skull Splitter Dice, the dice with the most metallic points of view, ba-ding-ching, ever. You do not want to step on these in the dark. However, you can use them as caltraps if your home is ever invaded to slow down your pursuant invaders. Skull Splitter Dice, the way to go in any situation. Once again, be sure to use code FEATHERFALL at checkout for 10% off your purchase. And as always, we here at Featherfall, both player and GM and mods alike, always appreciate your patronage and your gifts from our sponsors. Please be sure to reach out through Discord if you want to have the information shipped to you as far as where you can send those lovely gifts. So anyway, without further ado, would anyone like to recap last 2 weeks ago?
Well, I usually don't have anything written for Cairne like I do Sigil, but you can give us a bit of a quick recap.
Knock yourself out. You have the floor.
So last time we started off at Salle de Perdu, and we were finishing off the last remaining Blightborn that had came and attacked us while we were trying to explore. So we were able to finish them off, and we were able to figure out that Salle de Perdu was a tomb of sorts. So a burial place, and not really much for us to do there.
Except get into trouble.
Yeah, except get into trouble, but not really any items or information that we can glean besides just, a history of the place, but not really one that was relevant to us at the time when we were looking for something very specific, so we continued on. we head back the way that we came, and the decision was made to head back west towards the manor that we stayed at and then head north from there, since obviously going east towards Argent Caché did not work out for us. So north from Crackstone Manor we headed, and then we came upon a intersection where we could only turn right or left, so we turned right to go eastward and ran into the village that we currently are in right now. Several of us fell into a trap full of like ammonia and other nasties, and Azdruzhar painted our compatriots a ladder to be able to climb out of the pit, and then we had to schmooze our way into the good graces of the Foivanian dwarves that were in the village, which, they still thought of us as stupid, but for the first time we actually ran into some very hospitable dwarves. And Eric came and provided us food and a good night's rest, provided that we didn't leave our rooms in the night, which is where we left off. We were all sleeping in the room that Eric had provided for us. Everyone was sleeping with the exception of Uki and Listener, who were on watch, and Listener saw several black bubbles floating around outside, and as one passed, Listeners saw strange visions in the bubble of a few faces that many of you might recognize from Sigil Confidential, but Listener here obviously has no idea who these strangers were, and yeah, that was where we left off on our cliffhanger.
Very good. Very good. And this is very true. So, the strange bubbles of distorted views floating out in the darkness of the caverns, revealing a strange group of people before shimmering lights on the wall that had little pictures on them. But yes, beyond that strange anomaly, unless anyone did want to wake up and go exploring outside, which is always your choice. No takers?
I think we're all too cautious to violate Eric's orders. He's the one who's lived down here for like his entire life.
It's true, but if anyone wanted to wander off alone in the dark by themselves, I would be totally okay with it.
Well, I don't necessarily want to do that, but I would like to do something else.
Go ahead. Sorry, just the way you put that cracked me up. I don't necessarily want to do that, but yeah, what do you want?
Because I know we talked about this like off session, just kind of spending downtime meditating and thinking about my character's abilities and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's all I want to do. I want to like meditate, practice the astral projection stuff within the confines of the room, and then just kind of think about like ways to do things within the new scope.
All right. That is not a problem whatsoever. You're always paced with abilities like yours to stay in focus. Meditative responses are definitely a key to that. So the rest of the night, I will say, will pass beyond the anomaly without event. Those of you who do sleep will wake up fairly early, at least you think it is. Time is a trip down here for those of you who can't tell time in this type of situation. But you will wake up to kind of a droning dirge being kind of deeper into the community. It's nothing too crazy. It's if you're familiar with music, it's a D minor, B flat minor, G minor, and A progression. Very sad, kind of Dorian scale. And the dwarves are singing in a choral form. Though it won't make much sense for those of you who don't understand Foivinian. For those of you who do, you will catch some of it. The main thing you'll catch is the refrain, which is translated, "Oh, hear our mournful cries as we bid farewell to our homes and lives. Our hearts are heavy, our souls are torn, as we sing this funeral dirge forlorn." It goes on to tell about their experience battling the blight, both in the beginning and the decades upon decades that they have been embroiled in their struggle since then. It almost appears to be some sort of morning ritual as they gather and sing. What would you guys like to do?
Morning in two senses of the word, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a morning person. I'll keep sleeping.
See if she'll wake up, if just to, like, appreciate the music.
Okay.
Terrible dreams. I'm gonna try to
Poor ass.
sleep through this.
As I will say,
Some valuable rest.
as you wake up, are disturbed enough to at least crack your eyes open, at least. Can you give me let's do a wisdom save, please?
Yes, he was hungry the other day, I recall.
You wake up, your eyes crack, and you just, like, your stomach is just, like, it's just audible. Like, it feels like it's devouring yourself from the inside. You're so hungry.
Oh,
Like,
I ate all of those mushrooms last night too.
it's pretty bad today.
Oh my god. Is anybody else like mega hungry? I'm gonna sneak off and find the larder or the kitchen or see if I can find like some breakfast mushroom sausages.
Okay. Not a problem.
Saoirse's going to pipe up and say, "Wait, we should probably really wait for Eric to tell us that it's okay to leave."
It's morning. I'm hungry.
It's safe to go out into the day room. You can see some bustling out there, so that you wouldn't be alone.
Is there a breakfast spread?
Looks like they're preparing one.
Excellent. I'll go find a bench or somewhere to sit. Bring me food, dwarf.
Oh, that'll get you some looks.
I'm sure I don't speak Dwarven or Foivanian and I'm like twice as tall as them. I'm like a giant sitting at their table like food, feed me.
Pointing at your mouth. Ah!
Hungry.
Feed me 4 beans. Feed me all that long. Okay. What about the rest of you guys? What are you doing? What you got, Bill?
Oh, I take my 1 HP of long rest healing.
There you go.
I was thinking, are there any old maps of this place?
Nothing visible. Nothing laying out or anything like that. You might be able to ask, like, Elik or one of the other dwarves. They might have something, potentially.
Yeah, might do that.
Okay.
Well,
I
Go ahead.
What you got?
I would like to make up another dose of antibiotics and then try to see if Az will eat it.
Okay. He'd probably eat just about anything you put in front of him right now.
At least try to disguise it as food.
Just put it in some peanut butter.
I'm turning it into a carbonated beverage. It fizzes.
Ooh, spicy drink. All right, I like the spicy water. How'd you do that?
Well, you get things really cold, and then you put a couple of these tablets and this other tablet in it, and it causes it to fizz.
Oh, so you're like an alchemist.
I'm the doctor. I deal with medicine.
I like your spicy water, Mr. Doctor.
All right. Well, I'm going to be making these for you for the next few days. And then you can have at least one a day. How's that sound?
I am honored to receive the gift of your spicy water once a day. This is a delectable delicacy. How are you not the richest person on this planet with your spicy waters? This is amazing.
Why would I charge for the spicy water? It is all to help.
Oh, look at
It'll
that.
also help tummy issues.
What?
Yeah, the spicy water was a bit of a Volrestad invention, so.
So that's no problem. Wilhelm, you hook Az up as you get your spicy water in you.
Alka-Seltzer and antibiotics.
It tingles on the way down.
It does, and it's like it disappears the moment it hits your stomach. It's weird. This is like being a teenager all over again. You're a bottomless pit. The dwarves are busy. They're bringing out very large, kind of grilled mushrooms in a strange, like brown sauce. It smells very savory, very delectable. And they set one before everyone who would like one.
Nice, yeah. Saoirse will be out at this point, like probably helping herself and, maybe playing some music.
Okay. Perfect. The music will definitely be appreciated. They do not get much more than, standard dwarven music, which, for all intents and purposes, as you heard this morning, isn't terrible by any means. It's very heartfelt, very simple, but very heartfelt music, all their own. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. No, they're also going to give you a steaming hot cup of some type of brown liquid. It smells very bitter, but they all seem very intent on drinking it and enjoying it. It's mushroom coffee, basically. Mud water, if you want to call it that.
Christ.
But yeah, so breakfast is fairly uneventful. Once again, Eric is out. He's chatting with his people, and of course, you guys still get the looks that you have been, but they really kind of just leave you to your own devices unless you directly engage with them yourselves. They're not threatening. They're still friendly. They nod hello and everything, and kind of give you that look up and down the bridges of their broad noses from time to time. A couple of them might snicker and tell a joke about you guys to one another, but nothing unexpected. Beyond breakfast, are you guys going to do anything while you eat? Anything substantial that needs to be addressed? Belethir's thinking about attacking someone, I can tell. He's queuing up every now and then.
No.
Not really doing anything. I think it would be really obvious that Genesis is just thinking a lot. Like, obviously,
Introspective.
we're just kind of staring at a spot on the table and like,
Okay. Lost in thought. Very good.
Well, Saoirse, at sometime during breakfast, she's going to mention, particularly to the people here who could speak Foivanian, that we probably need to get directions to the domes of the Shining Eyes since we're headed that way, because she doesn't know if north out of here is going to lead the way that we want to go.
All right. Is there
Like, out of character, I know that we probably need to head back the way we came and like further going west and then probably take a turn north at some point, but like in character she's not gonna know that.
That's fair. All right. Is anyone translating for her?
Sure, Belethir will.
All right. Are you talking to Eric or just a randomer?
Probably Eric.
Okay. So Eric will once again laugh at you. If you remember, he was kind of called you guys stupid for wanting to go there to begin with. You are still very intense on this path that will bring you to certain death and destruction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, assuming Belethir is translating, Saoirse will nod.
I had assumed maybe a good night's rest and a full belly would have, made you not so stupid.
Well, you know, we can't cure insanity.
This is a fact. So, listen. I need you to understand that this thing you are asking is not a place that we go. I have faint memories of the domes when I was young. None of us have been there. It is to the northeast, past a small fortress. A border keep, if you will, where we hold the line against the vast majority of the Dark Bastards.
That's what we heard, but from here, do we head north, or where do we need to go?
If you want to see the falls, the north. If you want to continue on your journey, then you need to go out the way you came.
Out the way we came, and then would we take a turn toward the north somewhere down the line?
Northeast, so I do not go that way. I know at one time there were ones that looked like him out there quite often, and he points at Az. But they have not been there for many, many years.
Saoirse will nod.
We do not go there. It is a cursed place. But it maybe is the only way you can get to where you want to go. Unless you want to take the long way around.
Saoirse will say, I understand.
This is good. This is good, yes, yes. So, what is the plan then?
Well, probably, head the way you suggested. That's not the long way around.
You sure you don't want to see the falls?
We don't want to intrude.
Intrude? Let's just say the falls may be a very, very quick way to get out of this hole by jumping in another one, whether you want to or not. And the rest of them will just kind of laugh at that. That actually kicks off a big one.
Well, wait, when he says, are we sure that we don't want to see the fort, like...
This is the fosse.
Okay.
The fosse. It's a place. The Fovinian understanders would recognize the fosse as a very creative way of saying the pit.
Okay. Alright, because, like, yeah. I don't know.
It's up to you guys. Whatever you want to do, I will facilitate.
Yeah, I mean, Saoirse just wants to, like, you know, head toward the fort that we were told about back in Grundholm, and she's not sure if we should head north out of here or back the way we came and then north and take a turn towards east, which is what she wants to know, basically. And she thinks she has her answer.
Sounds good. Unless anyone else has a alternative solution.
Yeah, because out of character, I can see on the Twitch stream that heading north out of here, like, will not lead us to where we want to go. We just hit a wall.
The fosse.
Not really an alternative, but just kind of a point of narrative. I think that my character right now is really struggling with a lot. Like, I'm taking this transition between the list of abilities to a more holistic perspective, both in character and out of character. And we're just kind of, she's grappling with like the concept of being able to, oh, you're hungry, I can make you not hungry. Like, I can make you do whatever. Like, hello? Who let me do this? Wait a minute. We're just like,
who let me do this?
What level of restraint should be required of me? And why am I the person telling myself this?
That is an interesting internal drama you have going. I like it.
It's just like, you know, backstory included, and like the influence that a person is capable of exerting on someone else. There's got to be like, how do you gauge where the line is? How do you tell when you're going too far?
And I will tell you this, and if you're familiar, if not, I can show you a link to it. But if you're familiar with the story of Mal Weinstrom, the first person to exhibit the abilities that you have within Cairne and her story and what happened and led to her execution.
Right.
It's kind of a warning, cautionary tale for all who may have that power, and for all around the people who do have that power, and what they're capable of. Your character would be very familiar with the story of Mal Weinstrom. But yes, that would make sense with you having that internal dialogue, is why I bring it up. That's
okay.
Not wanting to end up like Mauve.
Yeah.
So
we're just kind of quiet and over here, like, yeah, sure, we'll go whatever direction the navigators tell us to go, but like that discussion is secondary to the fact that, like, I don't know. It's on the back burner.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Like, yeah.
You got your internal torment. We have a few internal torments going on right now, and I love it. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry.
I'm so hungry. You don't even know. Like, can we stop off for a brunch?
I don't know where we would stop off for brunch, as.
I don't know, just find a nice rock on the side of the path, and we'll just set up a little brunch picnic.
Didn't you just eat breakfast?
Yeah, haven't you heard of Elevensies?
Wilhelm, this isn't normal, is it?
Saoirse
I
looks
bet this one
concerned.
hasn't even heard of pre-lunch.
Pre-lunch.
You don't eat this much usually. Like,
I'm catching up on 200 years of not eating. I think.
you had freshly awoken when you joined this group, and you didn't eat like that when you just joined us.
I think the metabolism was taking maybe a moment to kick in, and now it's playing catch up for shutting down for 200 years. That's got to be it.
Is,
true.
is that how metabolisms work, Wilhelm? I don't know. I'm not a sciencey.
There are many things in play that are unique to this situation. And I would kind of like to indicate to Genesis that I'd like to talk to her, kind of like tapping my forehead.
Okay.
And I've been using a lot of magical power, which it just requires the food source, fuel.
True.
I'm gonna try a few things here.
Yeah, and his old understanding, because he doesn't exactly use his own magic anymore.
Never used my own magic.
All right. Kicking off some telepathy.
Indeed.
Okay. If this is where I'm gonna go ahead and just make an executive call here with the telepathy,
Okay.
Genesis, that if it is a accepted communication by the other party, it's not going to cost you anything. Okay.
Okay.
So this is just an alternative form of communication based upon your professional path.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead. If you want to type it out, you can, or if you are okay speaking openly, you can.
I think I'm okay with speaking it, but just with the knowledge that in character, no one would be hearing this.
Fair.
That's a no metagaming.
No metagaming. Very fair.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like. I'm not like. Now see here, with this group that I have to like.
Don't worry.
You dare use this, because
I can.
We're at this point.
I can actually roll a D1 million sided dice for a god thump if somebody cheats. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're fine with it. Like, I'm just gonna see what he's thinking.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay,
what
yeah. Go ahead, Wilhelm. What do you got?
You're right. Something is not correct. I'm not sure what. I've started him on a course of antibiotics. If it is a disease, it should be helping him. It does take some time, but you were completely correct. He doesn't seem to acknowledge the fact he's sick, but there's something wrong. I'm wondering if it has something to do with his wounds and stuff. Perhaps an offshoot of prion disease?
Nice. Good touch.
Interesting.
But you are completely correct. That drink I gave him earlier had antibiotics in it to try to, if it is some sort of disease, help deal with it. Unfortunately, I can't force him to seek treatment because it's his body, it's his choice. But by the same token, I want to at least help him if I can. And you are not imagining things. Something is definitely not right.
Okay. Is there anything I can do that would help you be able to figure out this diagnosis more specifically, or is it just kind of a symptom-based evaluation?
Symptom-based would be my guess. I spoke to him in length and something's not right. It's got hunger, but what's causing it? Not really sure.
And suppressing that wouldn't really help, I'm assuming.
I don't know, to be honest. I'm not as. I honestly am not sure what's wrong. Whether the hunger is a symptom of a much larger disease, or whether it's the actual disease itself. I lean towards more it being symptomatic of something else. And the getting rid of his appetite would help with the symptom.
It's still there.
Exactly. Kind of like if you break your leg and it hurts, I can give you medicine to get the pain to go away, but you've still got the broken leg.
Very true.
And you can reduce the inflammation, but then you also risk injury if you're using that leg.
Exactly. And I'm not treating the leg, I'm just treating the pain.
Solid.
That's fair. I guess I'll just keeping an eye on him. Really, I guess that's all we really can do, right? Like,
exactly. I think
that
we
and make
just
sure he's taking what you're giving him.
agreed. I think we just keep an eye on him. We let as many people know as possible to keep an eye on him without distressing him, so we don't worry him even more. And maybe if there is something more concerning, he will realize it himself as well.
Okay,
Solid.
I can ring some doorbells and send that message out.
Thank you.
People are willing to listen, you know.
And I'm glad you got I'm not very good at this subtlety, so I appreciate the fact you were able to get what I was going for. Thank you.
Nice. All right. So there's like a beep beep that you hear in your head, and you're like, "Why is that there?" And then there's like a distant knocking sound in each person's at the table's head. Like
Are you excluding anyone?
I think I would exclude Az just because
just to verify that.
just to make sure he's not like alarmed. There's like a
oh yeah, didn't mean to tell you that, Az. Forget everything I just said.
just like a hello.
Saoirse will turn around and look for where the knocking noise is.
It's literally just in your head.
Imagine a listener would pick up immediately and know exactly what's going on already.
The following is a pre-recorded message delivered for your safety. Please do not be alarmed. Blah 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 blah. This is the thing that's going on with Az, so and so, and monitor for further symptoms. We don't know if this is contagious, such and such. This message will not self-destruct, but it will end in 3, 2, and 1.
All right. So, as the message disseminates among everyone except Az, and Az is suddenly under remarkable amounts of scrutiny, if you want, you may make a perception roll. Anyone except Az, because, you know, they're all staring at you.
I'm stuffing my face with second breakfast.
Yeah.
I hope we haven't left the inn yet.
Hey, look at these rolls. Rolls. Wow. Alright, if that's all of them, anyone else gonna roll? Oh, there we go. Wilhelm, nice. Goodness. So, I will say that. Oh, there we go.
Jeez.
God, dang, you're all rolling high. Az does look a little, not worryingly so, but thinner. It's like he's losing some weight.
Saoirse is going to look even more concerned.
Dun dun dun.
Do I notice anything additional with the 24?
No. That's really about all that you would be able to see physically.
So his stomach is audibly growling, right?
Hey, you guys have all heard that.
Is he doing anything like grabbing his midsection, or is he just like playing it off?
I don't know, are you?
Just kind of playing it off and just like eating a lot.
Okay.
So far.
There you go.
Yeah, Saoirse, because, like, she knew that I think a lot of people got the sense that something was up with this unusual hunger. Like, Saoirse is out here being concerned. So, this unusually great hunger combined with the fact that Az is looking thin, yeah, Saoirse's real fucking concerned now.
I'm sure it's fine. I wouldn't worry.
Oh, Saoirse's worrying.
Uh-oh.
I gotta do some more reading. Hang on. For now, we're just gonna watch him.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So what else are we
Something.
doing? While everyone's staring at poor Az, I should say.
Probably preparing to head off in a certain direction to do our stuffs.
Yeah, Saoirse's
Okay.
beginning to pack up if, there are things that need packing.
All right. So, Eric very kindly will give you guys each basically a bundled lunch and a small flask of purified water. Once again, he's despite the fact he's a little rude, he's being very nice to you. But yeah,
Saoirse isn't aware that he's being rude.
true. Those of you who are aware, but yeah, I mean, but those of you who are aware are familiar enough with their culture to understand that this is just how they are. So yeah, he gives you each kind of a bundled lunch. It's all mushroom based. Let's be honest, except for the water, which is purified. This will be enough to kind of get you, with the exception of Az, through a day.
Saoirse will bow with her deepest gratitude for the gift.
I have a bit of an idea here.
Mm-hmm. What's your idea?
So the text of cleric cognizance isn't really clear as to whether or not I can use this to target a certain problem that I'm trying to solve vaguely. I don't know. I don't know that I have a thing for this.
So, okay. Yeah, let me see here. Oh, thank you. I was going to pull it up myself.
I have buttons for all this, like.
Yeah, no, that's handy. Okay. Yeah, and this is meant to be like your ability to pull truth out of the air with a tremendous amount of focus. You're basically able to, like it says, discern a single fact about any given person, place, thing, or time. So basically, you would use this. You would spend, I'm going to say for this, we're going to spend 2 points. You're going to focus your ass off to do this and really, like, reach within the psychic realm and yank out a chunk of truth and reveal it to yourself, like a revelation. And you may ask one question.
Can it be related to his condition?
It's one question. Anything you want to ask. If you're willing to spend the points.
Of course I am. So I just need to find a way to formulate this question where the answer that I get will be helpful.
Okay.
Um,
You want to think about it for a minute, or?
I think my character has kind of a revelation of sorts, like a small eureka moment, and they're like, "Oh, let me go ask Wilhelm again because he would know specifically like what we need to know,
Okay.
right?" I'm gonna have a think about this and try to find the answer to one question, but I need to know what I'm looking for. Like, we have all these symptoms and stuff. Are we looking for? Just what is the problem with him, or are we looking for what can we use in our nearby vicinity to come up with a treatment that will solve what is wrong with him?
Just be. All I'm going to say is mind your wording,
Yeah,
because I will
gotta
go
be-
very
it's gotta be
literal.
precise.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why I say if you want to think about it a minute, we'll get you guys moving. You can think about it while we're moving if you'd like.
Okay. If I'm allowed to walk while in a trance, I'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, we're changing some things, and one of the things we're changing is these definitive, strict
Okay.
rules on a lot of your abilities. So,
I think as we get ready to depart, I'm just going to be talking to Wilhelm about it. Like, what exactly would you ask if you were capable of getting like one thing?
Well, there are upsides and downsides. Obviously, I don't know how it works. We could ask what's wrong with him, but if we know, that does not imply knowing what it is. For all we know, there's something wrong with him that I don't know anything about. So just telling us, how what can we do to heal him might be the best, but it could also be something we don't have access.
So we need to limit ourselves to words that I can say to you, things that you can understand, resources that we have nearby, and the specific condition that is causing his hunger.
Oh, this is getting good.
Yes, I know it's. I feel like you're.
If it gets all like lofty and fancy, like metabolic, blah 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 blah, I'm not gonna be able to tell you that because I'll be stammering over the words and saying things wrong.
Just remember, it's one question, one answer.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like it needs to be a question that has a semicolon in it.
That would be two questions.
Semicolon, combining them. But no, I understand what you're thinking. Can our minds be connected while you're asking the question? So that I am also seeing the answer at the same time?
If you want to spend an additional point, yes.
Might be worth it.
So
You can say no, and I'm not going to know that that's an option.
yeah, let me just look at my abilities list real quick because I wanna understand how I'm doing this in character.
Okay.
Because we're setting out for a voyage after a long rest.
Yes.
And I have very limited. I have a limited amount.
We'll say while you're doing this, everyone's gathering up their belongings and getting ready to head out, right?
Yes.
And the agreement was to start moving back out west and then northeast once you get around the ridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as we can take a turn northeast, we're going to take a turn northeast.
All right. So I'm going to start moving you guys little by little here as we go, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna convey to Wilhelm that this is gonna be very taxing, but I can include you in this thought process as I try to figure this out. But it'll mean that I can do less as we progress towards where we're going.
I mean, you could also just write it down if you prefer. And just hand me it as like a note.
Because I feel like if I'm asking a question and I'm getting an answer, I know that answer, I know that truth, so I can express to you what that truth is, and you can determine whether or not that's helpful in your diagnosis or not. Right? Having you there and having you in my mind as I'm sitting there for an hour thinking about this, I'm not really sure what that's accomplishing when I've never really used this ability before.
Honestly, I don't know. Your abilities, I'm not familiar with. If you feel comfortable that you don't need to have me connected and that you can convey the information, I believe in you.
I think as I'm looking into like the fabric of the universe for the first time, I'm gonna spend just the 2 points to do it, and then next time after I've gotten over the fact that this is possible, then I'll work on like bringing people in and looping them in to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Listeners here, so we can kind of.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, listener.
Pretty good. So Az is hungry.
That's bad.
Which means he's sick. He also is very thin. Genesis and Wilhelm have been arms crossed in front of their chests, kind of looking at each other intently for the last minute or so. And Genesis looks worried. Like, eyebrows furrowed, kind of like, here we go, you know.
I'm helping myself to my third course of breakfast before we hit the road.
Yeah.
Solid.
This man advancing halfling technology. We've invented third breakfast. He worked for decades for this.
None of you guys even knew. I'm just honoring time-honored traditions with my old best friends, the halflings. You guys have probably never even met one. This is how
actually
we honor their culture.
The irony.
Actually,
just
the one. They have met one.
In character, Az wouldn't know that though.
No, he wouldn't know that.
I took that as like an in character exposition.
Yeah. So, you're on the move. You're moving once again through the dark corners of Underhome, through the ruin-strewn former streets and plazas, among the rubble of the former homes, shops, and otherwise, normal buildings of everyday life as you're going. Thank you. The plan is to move along that ridge to your north and then turn northeast.
I think Genesis would like to consult with Listener about like what the question is going to be and stuff, and get kind of a bit more context before asking as we go along.
Also have an idea what the question should be too.
You're absolutely able to consult with Listener if you can fill in the player of Listener about what is the nature of this question.
So, I don't know if you can see in chat where I have the ability Clear Cognizance. I can meditate for a certain amount of time and figure out a truth about a person. But I need to ask that question with specific phrasing, similar to the way you would ask a question from that cage.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to phrase it like if you're speaking with dead, you have to say things a certain way. It's kind of that same vein of specificity that you need to have in mind. So I'm just trying to loop in the diagnostic prowess and medical comprehension that Wilhelm has with my ability to tell things about people that I wouldn't otherwise know.
Okay. Well, it seems as if in character you've both twigged to the fact that something's distinctly wrong with Az.
Yeah.
He doesn't eat this much.
He's still eating. He's
It's literally just that. He's just hungry all the time. He just ate dinner. He just ate breakfast when we woke up. And now he's back over there talking about brunch.
And
It's
yet
not
he's
his-
getting thinner.
It's not his metabolism either, because he's been awake and with the party for quite some time, and it hasn't been like this. So, like, between just us and without him hearing, something's up. You know, he's already on this. I explain like the diagnostic thing or whatever Wilhelm does. We just kind of collectively like discussing what to do here.
Right. Well, listener not being an expert in the biologies or eating habits of the more standard organisms of the party, even, having traveled all this time, it's not like he's paid super attention to how much you eat. He says, well, if you can truly perceive any information, why not just ask the thing that bothers you? What's causing Az to eat in this manner?
The answer I get from that question could be that hunger is causing him to eat. And then I have to ask, what's causing the hunger?
Well, maybe
His sickness is causing the hunger. What's causing his sickness?
Then you should loop them all together and ask, what is the nature of the sickness causing Az's hunger?
Or I could ask, what is the specific combination of available materials that will result in a cure for the condition that ails Az? Which would give us a cure that we can make and, by extension, diagnose the condition without necessarily specifying what it is.
That was
Because I don't actually need to know what it is. I just need to know how to fix it so we are not hampered.
Go for it.
Right?
This does presume that there is a cure.
Sorry.
Indeed, it does presume
you're
that
good.
there is an illness.
Oh no, he's counting down. He's counting down. We gotta ask a question. Holy shit.
I would
Are you
like to
are
go
you counting
over-
down?
No, you're good. You're good. You guys are just steadily walking while you're kind of conversing and trying to figure this out. So it's.
Oh yeah, I'm
good.
booping the token along.
So right now
Panicking.
you're once again you're moving into a wide open area. You can see the one wall, and you can probably see the very faint outline of the far one, where you're at. Maybe
Okay, I'm sorry I freaked out there.
Just a touch.
Sorry.
you're good. So I am just gonna say that what you're coming into at one time was a grand boulevard. I mean, just huge. So all along, like the centers here of the area that you're in, like the rubble and ruin is just really horrible. Like this was a bad area, and you're starting to see a buildup of skeletal remains as you move forward, and it increases as you move. The fighting in here was very intense, and listener, the spiritual presence that you are perceiving is no longer just dwarves, but large contingent of elven fighters fighting with the dwarves, like as allies.
How curious. I did not expect the elves to have been down here.
But these don't look like Van Moren. These elves look refined. They're wearing shining armor and are fighting with a grace like Az would.
Az?
Outside voice.
Yes. Did your people ever
Oh.
travel these caverns?
We had an official embassy down here somewhere. I never visited myself, but I was aware of its presence. I stationed many soldiers here and assigned them to the garrison at
Oh.
points over time.
We may well be approaching this embassy. The spirits, many of them are now the spirits of elves in battle alongside the dwarves.
Oh. At least they died with honor in battle.
I look at the battle. Does it seem honorable to listener?
Yeah. The fighting here was intense, and the further up along the ridge to your east there, it goes, the more intense it is, and you see, by organic standards, from what you've come to understand, numerous acts of selfless heroism, both from dwarven fighters and elven fighters alike, as they battle unseen opponents back to back. It's almost endearing to see.
Yes, indeed, they seem. Though I am no expert in these matters, but they seem to have fought uncommonly well. I believe that way, I gesture towards the east. Given the movement of the fighting, I believe that way may have been the source of these armies. Might there be anything at the Elven Embassy that you wish to see?
Always wanted to see it. I never managed to get down here, though.
Well, we're here now. No reason not to.
Steady.
We'll sort of bend that direction.
All right. That line follows the eastern wall, basically. And as you move, the fighting grows thicker and thicker, and you see more and more of the elven combatants.
Resuming the conversation with Wilhelm and Genesis, now that Genesis has delivered a post into the text chat.
What if it's just like already too far gone for us to cure it? Like, I'm very focused on fixing the problem, but not everything can be fixed. Like, I need to ask the question of someone that's like a question that's posed by someone that's wiser than I am. Because it would need to be something that someone with the understanding that they can't fix everything would ask.
Well, if it is incurable and he will simply waste away unto death regardless of our action, then why is there any great need to be concerned about the outcome of the question?
I mean, we're not even getting into the question of ethics. Like, should I be doing this?
Should you attempt to save your friend? Yes, I would say so. I'm fairly certain that's how it works.
Listener's very good about cutting through things to the thick of the core.
Help who you can help, right? Like, I'm not overstepping with this, am I?
That's a personal decision.
Typically, diagnostic matters are left to the individual who's studied for this, right? Why am I so certain that what I'm coming up with is going to be better than what Wilhelm's already diagnosed?
Who knows?
Friend Wilhelm, do you have a diagnosis that you believe is actionable?
Am I part of this conversation?
Oh yeah, you're
Yep,
looped in.
yep.
Okay. I think figuring it out is fine. Now, depending on what it tells us, that's where we run into the moral quandary. We can't make him accept treatment, but knowing what he has might be the So I've actually been thinking. I might have an idea. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this question.
So,
What
hang on, stop there on the icon. But yeah, go ahead, ask your question.
What can we do to cure as with regards to what we currently have or can expect to have in the next 24 hours? I'm sure there's a flaw in that question. Where do you guys see it? Now, it is possible there is no cure. You're right. If that's the case, the answer will be nothing, and then we'll know we can't treat him. And unfortunately, that leads to other questions. Or it might say death. Death might be the only cure. Which, honestly, is my biggest fear, is that that's what it's going to tell us. That will also give us an indication of what's going on. But,
the resources that we have on hand and the methods that we can use to implement that cure, along with I guess it doesn't matter if we understand what it is and what or not. Like, you're obviously going to understand it, right? So, I feel like that's a solid question. I'm not a medic. I don't know what any of this is, so I'm just kind of.
No, you're good. I know this is it's complicated question. Well, real quick, let me throw this in here.
Yeah.
As far as where you're at, physically, as you kind of are making the bend down this boulevard.
Am I able to recognize? Are there elf skeletons around?
Yes, plenty.
Could I like to try and collect a dog tag or something? As many of them as I could.
That's
if possible.
We're talking hundreds.
They've been here for a really long time. But
hundreds.
Out of respect for them,
I don't know if they would have anything like a dog tag.
They're soldiers. They'd have some.
Well, yeah, but that's a very modern.
It is
modern thing.
And the elves didn't. The old Galdo shot. We didn't really use metallurgy, so it would have been some sort of wooden little tag, and that probably would have deteriorated by now. So maybe a finger bone or something. Then
I will say that
little pinky finger bone or something or a tooth or some piece of each.
You would be here for weeks.
Yes,
doing that because there are so many.
Right. There are that many of them.
Yeah, there are hundreds.
We lost a legion.
There are hundreds of bodies around
even
you.
More sad now.
I will say that somebody has taken the time to go through and spike each one of them in the head.
Oh.
Every one of them has a
rude.
hole in the skull. But every dwarven body you've passed has the same.
Is that a future war thing that I'm not aware of? You guys spike skulls to prevent them from getting back up or something?
It's a very Foydinian thing.
The locals appear to engage in this sort of practice.
It's to make sure they don't get up again.
It may even be effective.
So what I was going to say is, as you're rounding this bend, the plaza that you were walking along, the tile work has kind of changed slowly over time. It's gone from the standard dwarven, bas-relief kind of Art Deco feel into a much more elegant design. You also see a lot of rotted wood and even some cases of near petrified wood all over the place, as though at one time the areas around this location had been covered in a subterranean garden of some sort. Most of the plants long gone by now, obviously. It's just rotted brambles and husks of what was once there. But with a little imagination, you can tell that this at one time must have been a stunning sight of strange subterranean beauty, almost as if the elves that once inhabited this location manipulated nature in such a way below ground that most people might not have expected, using perhaps like bioluminescent fungus and whatnot to create just a stunning natural landscape below ground, because they were masters of manipulating nature. Subterranean was no different. In the distance, as you approach, you can see the ruins of the Galdashah embassy. Standing amidst a natural mineral deposit of water, surrounded by what must have at one time been cascading waterfalls. There's still a good degree of kind of mist and steam rolling about the area, and even in its decay, there is a certain beauty to it. From what you can tell, the stonework itself is just masterful. At one time, there must have been amazing statuary all over the place. And once, like I said before, the gardens, the subterranean gardens that were here at one time, must have been just breathtaking. There is a strange awe and presence to the location still, despite everything. Although now, aside from Listener, it is silent as the grave, and covered with bones and the remains of elves everywhere. Your green sight thus far does not pick up anything out of the ordinary. Belethir, good call though. So yeah, not to interrupt your discussion, but I just wanted to let you know where you were at.
It's very important.
I've been in this situation before where I've had a question that I can ask and phrased it with way too much detail. Like, I remember this from something, and I don't know what it is, but...
Now, I will say that the path north, by the way, I know it doesn't look like it, but, map limitations. The path north is blocked.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the picture I showed you, you'll see the ridges that kind of go around the embassy. You would either need to potentially go through the embassy to continue north from here, or scale a very slick wall.
Ooh, let's not do that. Let's check out the embassy.
As always, it is entirely your call.
I'm gonna walk into the embassy like I own the place, carefully respecting the dead.
As we enter this ruin, I can't type that, apparently.
Uh-oh.
I got the command wrong? Sorry.
That's alright. It happens.
Why isn't it letting me type this? Is this too long? Wait a minute.
Oh no, we've seen some huge posts in the chat. Could not possibly be too long.
Yeah. Lowercase. Yep. Okay.
Is this what you're going to ask?
Yes.
Are you including anyone in the response? Or is it just you?
It is just me.
Okay, so just the 2 points.
Right.
The question is, and this is for those of you at home who don't like to read, within the limitations of our comprehension and available materials, what is the most effective and least dangerous cure for the condition that has caused Az's hunger?
Oh, very strong. Very good lawyering right there.
Nice. Good word usage.
Agreed. That was very nice.
So, Genesis, I'm going to send this to you in a top secret Discord message.
Okay.
Boom. So yes, that is the image that you get in your mind. I'll wait and let Genesis respond. Or emote her response, I should say.
I'd like to think that I'm wearing the peacebound mask for this, because I'm focusing and thinking very intensely about this, and I've like been in a trance this entire time. So Genesis doesn't really say anything.
Oh, you're in a trance for an hour. Wow.
Right.
Well, we've kind of belayed the time scale a little bit. We'll say she's been focusing on it for a while anyway.
Her line of sight, like she goes from looking in the middle distance and thinking about something to like widening her eyes a bit and looking to the right with the expression of someone who's realized something that they didn't want to realize. And then if I'm walking, if she's walking, she stops and just stands perfectly still. And you hear this kind of scoff, like, and she just turns completely around.
Okay. So we'll say you're on the stairs of the embassy at this point.
Right.
Okay.
That's the extent of the emoting that I think I'm going to do for that one.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Anyone else?
Well, I mean, if we knew that Genesis was going under to ask the question, I'd probably ask about that. But I think Az might have some poking around to do first.
Yeah, Az is steadily striding into the place.
Belethir's following and looking around.
So Az,
Yeah.
as you can see, the entrance is open in the image. You pass through the pillars and into the main structure of the building. The first thing that you see are the remains of approximately 15 of the Queen's Guard, laid out in various poses of agony and death, their weapons shattered at their feet, their armor broken upon their bones. In some cases, the very stone beneath where they lay shattered as if a tremendous impact had destroyed their physical body before their lives were given up. This is a main kind of foyer, a grand foyer. All of the statues inside have been defaced and broken. And the one exit out of the main foyer, the doors have been utterly just destroyed, blown inward and splintered. And we're talking about 3-inch thick, giant oaken doors.
Wow. I'm gonna go with a drop to my knees, hands like happy at the side, just absolute sorrow. They knew these ones.
The
They were-
empaths
they were-
will feel that very strongly. Go ahead, Az, I'm sorry.
This company was... I trained them myself.
What are their spirits up to, Church?
Their spirits are not here.
Hmm.
In fact, you're noticing very quickly that this place is completely absent of spirits.
Somebody ate.
That's not bad. That's usually bad.
Belethir, your green sight will alert you that the temperature as you enter drops significantly. Some of you will feel it, but it's a little chilly down here anyway.
Anyone else feel that?
Something
Saoirse-
is very wrong.
Saoirse will nod.
Church.
Yes.
Moving a little bit off the character sheet, as we've been doing lately with the various caster classes.
Mm-hmm.
As a spiritualist, I want to look around for residue. Because I suppose it's possible that they died here pre-blight, and therefore their spirits are just not on this plane anymore. But it seems unlikely to me, so I'm going to look for a residue indicating that spirits were devoured here.
Okay. Interesting.
Something with this capability has come through. I imagine that such beasts, they leave a bit of a taint behind.
It's ectoplasm. Sorry, I'm joking. I tell you what, goodness. I don't want to give you perception. Tell you what, and I obviously we're limited by some of the system limitations that we have. Give me a religion roll.
Ooh, okay, sure, you got it. Bang.
Wow, look at
Dang.
You picked one that I have not used a single time, and yet I do have a +8 in.
that. And a crit.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, listener kind of cradles his head in his hand and reaches out with his senses, and you see his form kind of convulse slightly, just shudder. Listener, you are overwhelmed with this esoteric residual energy that just permeates this entire structure, that the only thing you can equate it to is it feels like a much stronger energy than you felt when you were with the avatar of a goddess.
Ooh,
Jeez.
stronger still. Wow.
Stronger. There is an energy residue here of divinity.
Void divinity?
Yeah, does it have a flavor to it?
See, now that's... Well, you did crit.
I did crit. I have things that may be relevant. I have experienced the blight extensively.
True.
I have experienced God of the Halflings, so one divinity.
One divinity.
And I have experienced both the seed of a spirit tree and a corrupted spirit tree. So these are important elements of, I would say, elven, the elven hierarchy of divinity.
Fair.
And you've kind of been mentally connected to.
This is true. I have been connected to Az.
Like you've heard some. I've told stories of the old empire.
Yes.
So,
the last living servant of Shah.
You know what? You got a crit, and those are all very valid points. So I'm going to say this. This is what happens. As listener is sitting there reaching out, kind of shuddering and twitching, your senses are being overwhelmed. It's like electricity running through you. Everyone around listener sees listener sprout all over, little sprigs that leaf out in green. Listener, this is the closest you've ever felt to the natural world, as this divine energy kind of washes through your senses, and you can feel it move through you to the point where you gain 2 hit points if you're missing any.
I am missing a couple, yeah.
You literally feel your physical form grow from the touch of this residual divine energy. Whatever passed through here was so in touch with nature that it surpasses anything even you as a plant person understands.
I am nature, and this is more in touch with nature than me.
So yeah, that's what you're feeling. And like I said, those of you who are watching, listeners, see him sprout little sprigs over his body here and there.
Can I specify that Genesis does not notice this?
Of course.
That's fair.
Okay.
Listener is shell-shocked. He's wobbling a little bit. He's reaching blindly with his mind for Az. He just kind of... It takes him a second. Az. Az.
Oh.
You hear listener in your mind as Az. You're muted, by the way.
Oh, I know. I'm lost in sorrow.
Yes. But
You can feel the prodding. Are you resisting, Az?
I think I just give me a second here.
Or just ignoring? It's your call.
Shoot. All right. Yeah, what's up?
listener is like, you can feel this impression coming off of listener. It's radiating off of him over the mental link. As she took them. How?
I am confused. To
They
who?
they
What?
left. They were supposed to all be gone.
They're fallen
No.
valiantly.
As, not just that. Many of the fallen still stand outside, fighting their final battle. These... She took them. They are not here.
Her personal guard, of course. Bound eternally in her servitude. Are we?
They got to go home. I did not think it was possible. Is this what it was like before? You can just feel him almost glowing. You
Sure.
probably would be familiar with the radiance of Shah.
Yeah, I can kind of. I would assume that I can feel her through you
If he's
a little bit.
listener, are you projecting what you're feeling?
Oh yeah, it's all over the link right now. He can barely contain it.
All right, yeah. Then you'll, as you will get that warm glow that you have not felt in over 200 years.
Okay, so if I was already feeling sorrowful, now we're just like full on. We're done, waterworks and all. This is
Listener stumbles over and he kind of collapses by you. You're like arm in arm now. This is too much.
This is. To feel her touch again after all this time gives me the hope that I will once again be returned to her.
That's exactly what listener is asking you. He's saying, will she take you too?
I would hope.
Well, I do not wish it to be soon, but I do hope I live to see it.
I have no intention on checking out in your lifetime, outside voice. I still have a mission to complete.
I must admit, I'm not certain my people die. Apart from unnaturally.
Then you and I will grow old together.
It will be so strange to watch them.
Generations will come and pass.
We told you we met a goddess, right?
You did? You did? No, you never told me that. Who?
I feel like Saoirse would have mentioned it.
I don't know that it's come up in conversation yet.
It was Bodhi, right?
Yeah, no, it was Sinufe, and I
Sinufe,
feel
that's
like the Saoirse, like I as a person never mentioned it like directly. I feel like whenever I would have said like, oh yeah, Saoirse recounts to Az like, you know, all the adventures that the party took, that she would have mentioned that yeah, we met Sinufe. So
Okay. Well, I mean, it's up to you guys. That's all role play. So.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But she had been trapped here so long, in such a small form. I don't know if they're necessary or not, but it does seem a pity they're not around.
They were absolutely necessary. This world has gone to shit without them. They governed the rules, and they were the governing board behind magic. Without them, you guys have misused the stuff and ruined the world.
I don't know if I do magic exactly. I just see dead people.
You're doing magic.
Is that magic?
In my time, it was.
Well,
You're tapping into the god's power.
technically, listener. I mean, the Arcanist levels.
Yeah, but that's a book he found.
just pointing that out.
A book full of god's power.
Well, yes, I figured this was magic. I just thought the dead were there.
No, everything. Everything is magic. The gods governed it all. And some of them empowered champions to delegate their work in the material here. I was fortunate enough to be one myself. One of Shah's chosen four.
Listener's climbing unsteadily to his feet. He pats you on the shoulder. Probably only possible because you're still on your knees. I'm tall, I'm not that tall. When we ask them, I hope she remembers you fondly. Genesis, I imagine, is completely unnoticeable now.
Who?
Yeah, I was gonna do something. I was supposed to ask somebody something. I'm not sure what now.
Yeah, I think she's just standing outside, looking up at whatever the sky is in this area.
The darkness
Just kind of-
above.
Just looking up, like standing perfectly still. If listener and Wilhelm are okay with it, they would hear 3 words, very quiet, very like not unemotional, just like I have asked, and that's it.
Now, with you having done that, is the Mask of Obscurity still up?
I mean, I don't know what the intended function of this is.
It makes you inobtrusive.
Yeah, so I think it would be hard for me to even, like, focus on you unless I make the int save, as long as it's up.
Which you're welcome to make the end save and see through it.
Yeah, I'll make an attempt at the int save. There's a chance I'm not overcoming Genesis's spell save DC.
17.
I feel like that does it. Let me get my thing here.
Meter beat.
I had a thing for this. 16. Yeah, he beat it.
There you go. Yeah, you see through it.
Alright. So I managed to focus in on you and I ask, what was the answer?
You know how when there's like a violin playing, they can like quickly descend notes in the scale and go like, you know,
Yeah.
right? If they're playing like the background of an audio and then there's a sudden descension into madness, right? The feeling of that, just like it's like someone's grabbed you by the collar and just pulled you down, right? So that sudden falling sensation combined with the zoomed in visual of a knife crossing someone's jugular is what you get. Just like that one time that Genesis was like, the guard was in that one house and she turned him around and drew a knife across his throat.
Yep.
That's that specific visual. And then just the despair, just the pulled down. I'm in this again. Familiarity and chaos and madness. And just here we go again. Here we go.
No.
Just that's what you're getting.
I'm well familiar with this cure. I don't think it's much of a cure at all.
Just despair, madness, chaos. Little hints of what gives me the right to even say this in the first place. And a very faint smattering of fuck you and do you know what we're losing in this? And despair and madness and loss and anger. Just like with an underlining of understanding profoundly what that means, right? Because this isn't just some guard, right? This is a person that we've gone on voyages with this person. Like a Ventrite wouldn't just want to do this, right?
Generally, no.
a Ventrite would be one of the races more likely to ascribe or attribute more of a camaraderie,
Very
right?
much. Yeah, very much.
So that's what you're getting. Just that all in a bundle. Just eat.
Well, that's quite a lot. Listener's not that good at emotion to fully process that. But he receives the bundle, kind of looks at it from the outside and says, oh, that's bad.
So, you guys are standing in the main foyer. I think Genesis is still kind of on the steps just outside. As you're kind of going through this mental deliberation, this exchange, as you're on the floor just overcome with emotion,
Openly weeping.
understandably, Saoirse and Belethir, what are you guys up to as this is going on?
Saoirse's tearing up listening to this.
Okay, and Saoirse, you are feeling what Az is feeling because of your empathic nature as a Shunakishan.
Yeah.
Belethir, what were you saying? Sorry.
Belethir's having a wander around, trying to just look for magical auras and shit.
Okay.
Saoirse's going to later object that magic comes from the gods, but you know.
It's all
In
good.
fact, I think there are several races that would object to several of Az's statements. Like, the Volrishad would probably be like, no, the laws don't come from the gods. Like, the gods all have to obey the universal laws.
It's what you might call philosophical debates.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Belethir, you're actively searching.
Oh yeah.
You want to do an investigation roll?
Sure.
Okay. Solid. It's very solid. So several of the items amongst the remains that Az is weeping over catch your eye to start with. Although I don't think I need to tell you that you're a little nervous about looking too deep into those. Beyond that, you will discover that the doors that are shattered inside, the large oaken doors, were not only solidly made, but warded. Whatever broke them, whatever shattered them, not only shattered them physically, but decimated the wards as well. Suggesting very potent magic.
Genesis is just standing on the steps, looking into the distance, like not going in and not like leaving either.
Okay.
Just sort of stuck. And after some time of grappling with whether or not this question even needs to be asked, she'll just kind of quietly ping listener and Wilhelm
Okay.
and tell Wilhelm what the diagnosis is.
All right. I'll let you explain that to Wilhelm.
Okay. Well, I guess hopefully we're all in the group chat, right?
Yeah, we're around.
Wilhelm, are you here?
Yes.
Okay.
Where are you? I didn't pass. Your master security got me.
Oh.
Yeah, his intelligence save was a 12.
I think she's standing outside.
Yeah.
Can she see them?
You can, yeah.
Okay. I'm around. Um, I looked into this, um, and I struggled with even telling you what the answer was. Because I know coming from me, it can mean any number of things. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna show you how this answer makes me feel. I'm gonna try to keep this as clinical as possible, right? I'm not gonna influence you in any way. We're just talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what you do with this information, you're you're the benevolent. You know probably better than me what would be better to do here. Um, but factually and empirically, like I guess she's struggling with it to try to keep it clinical because she's shown listener the side of things that have to do with her backstory and her history as a person and the lives that she's already taken and how that compounds with like who this person is and all of that, all the story behind that. And just kind of trying to take a step back and make it clear, make it plain, make it obvious, make it as simple of a choice as we can make it without all that complication that comes from her as a person. You know, um, I I asked what would be the most effective and least dangerous, and I received and imagined the image of me slitting Az's throat and him dying at my feet. People have died at my feet before. I don't really. I've not been imbued with the power to make this call. What do you think?
Honestly, this was what I was concerned about. The diseases I'm familiar with, prion, the wasting disease, they're both fatal. There is no known cure for either one of those. I was truly afraid that this was going to be the response. Not you. First off, I am sorry. I'm so sorry for you. You had to see that. I have some thoughts. I don't. Obviously, this isn't just my choice. If he's,
it should be up to him for sure, but
agreed.
It should be something that like a conversation that's had with somebody who knows, what his symptoms are, what his condition is, and more importantly, someone who isn't capable of influencing him to think anything. Because as aware as I am of my abilities, I'm also aware of the fact that I can do them to you without you knowing about it. I could be right behind you and you wouldn't see me. This is something that should be told in the most honest way possible, without any of whatever I bring to the table. I'm not the best person for this.
I will talk to him. No one expects you to do anything. Nobody expects you. Nobody wants you to do anything you aren't comfortable with. I understand what you said the vision showed you, but you no, just no. I will talk to him. We'll see if there is something I've been thinking. If it is, I want to try something first. I have some ideas. They're not something that'll be immediate, but they might help. And if it does come to that, I don't think Az would have us do it. I think he would rather go off than endanger us. And I could be wrong, but I believe in putting my faith in him. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try some things first before any of that conversation. I don't know. I'm not giving up. And I want you to understand that too. Is that I'm not gonna give up. And I understand that that was the answer we got, but there's always a way. And maybe it's not something within 24 hours, but
I don't think I added that. I didn't add the 24-hour condition. I added
No.
most effective and least dangerous. But in all honesty, this character doesn't mind a more dangerous cure or something that's less effective. You
I
know?
mean, I still have the bottle from the tears. Maybe mixing something in that and using residual tear left might help.
I did say within the limitations of our comprehension and available materials. So that would be included. The tears would be included in materials.
Well,
But,
I,
you know.
I don't comprehend an answer doesn't mean there isn't.
Yep.
Spoken like
Just
a
gonna
true benevolent.
leave that. Just gonna leave that one to you. Just gonna leave that one to you. Just gonna transfer all that over there. You handle that because honestly, I can make him want to do anything. So I'm not the person for this discussion. The amount of blood that's on my hands already. There you have it.
I will handle this.
I'm
I
gonna
will
get out
take
of
this
this. I'm gonna get out of this area and just like step out of the embassy and just be like, the fact that I'm even considering talking to him about this in this place of all places, and this profound of a moment, is not lost on me.
Fair enough.
So I'm just gonna wind it back, you know, realize that this is not my call to make, and try to collect my empathy, you know.
So you move back. You move back down the stairs a little ways to probably plop down on them and have a little think, right?
You're just collecting the, you know.
No, that's fine. So you move back down the stairs, kind of away from the entrance, and plop down and have a seat. Wilhelm, you've had this information dropped on you. It's pretty heavy, obviously. Belethir, you're kind of marveling over the amount of power it would have taken to snap these doors and break the wards at the same time.
Yeah.
As you're weeping on the floor, Saoirse, you're distraught as well. Listener, you're kind of caught in the middle of everything.
Those slightly unnatural feelings about death have me, you know, a little out of the loop on such things.
Yeah. Which is fair.
Yes. For the moment, I'm willing to trust Wilhelm to his specialty, which is consulting patients. If it doesn't work out for him, I've got some backup plans of my own.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, Belethir, were you going to say something?
Nope.
Okay, yeah. Saw you light up. So, this is a very somber moment, obviously. And certainly don't want to detract from that at all. So the grieving will occur, obviously, take a minute. You guys are up inside the embassy, with the exception of Genesis, who's just out on the stairs. Genesis, I need you to give me a disadvantaged perception roll, please.
Oh, that's perfect.
Beautiful.
Perception.
Yes.
I hope I roll low on this one because I'm not paying attention at all.
You can opt to fail if you'd like. I don't mind.
I'm conflicted, okay?
It's your call.
Out of character, I want to succeed at everything I try to do. Every time I roll, I want to be the best of the best. I want to be a legend. I want to write a story that's just insanely good. But in character, this character wants to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that as the solution to his condition, out of character is somebody who's seen someone in a terminal condition.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly the easiest choice to make.
Oh, I understand. You okay?
So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna see whatever this is.
Okay. That's fine. Do you need to take a minute? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me know if you need to. It's all right. So.
I'm fine. Got it. I'm good.
Okay. No, you're good. You know the rules. Real life first. So Genesis. I imagine your character is distraught as well. You, and of course nobody else notices this. You feel a strange warmth around you, like an aura, a presence. It's almost comforting. You can kind of feel your mind ease slightly as you feel a physical pair of arms encircle your shoulders.
Is that good?
What?
I'm less than certain if that's good.
I look around, I guess.
As you...
Like-
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I look around because, like, I don't know who's there.
So you open your eyes, kind of hone in your physical senses.
Mm-hmm.
What you see is a woman's face in front of you, very, very close. Her arms are around your shoulders. You're not sure how she got up on you so quickly and so quietly. But her entire figure is this lattice work. In fact, I'm going to send you a super secret picture, since you're the only one who sees this for now. Secrets. She is smiling at you warmly, with a subtle glow all about her. One hand gently stroking your hair, as she leans in and places her forehead against your own. The warmth continues to grow, and you feel strangely even more at ease.
Well, whoever this isn't trying to hurt me immediately, which is great. I guess she's kind of like, who? I don't know if my out of character lack of knowledge would equate with my character's like not knowing who this is, because Shaw is not part of the Ventrite history necessarily, but we do trade.
This
a
is
lot.
definitely not Shaw. I'll tell
Okay.
you that.
So this spectral worm being is just here, right?
It's not spectral. You can feel her arms around you physically.
She just walked up and is like,
It looks like
here.
she came up out of the water.
She's spooky.
I should be alarmed, right? Should I be alarmed? I don't know if I should be alarmed. Hello?
Again, is that good?
You tell me.
Is that good? I don't know.
You tell me.
So we're just like,
It feels nice having those warm arms around you and that subtle glow kind of lifting your sorrows.
I really needed a hug right now, but I also don't know who you are. So hi, thank you, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what to do at all. I look at the being that came from the water and I don't know. Hi?
Like I said, her figure is this weird phosphorescent lattice work. Like it's not a solid human individual, but appears entirely elven for all appearances, aside from the lattice work and the glowing phosphorescence about her. As you say that verbally,
Yes.
she smiles. This warm, sweet, genuine smile of comfort and care. And her arms kind of tighten in a very gentle, loving way around your shoulders. And she draws in closer and lays her chin in the crook of your neck and just snuggles in next to you, holding you close.
Came out of the water, you say?
Also, can
Water
since Genesis said hello out loud, can
Just
we
picture
hear
people
that
like
and see what's going on?
people peeking out of the ruins like, hello?
Out of the water. We don't fuck with naiads around these parts.
People
So-
just looking around the door like Scooby-Doo, like, hello?
Yeah, well, she said hello very, very quietly. I tell you what, let's give a very high DC, because it would have just been a quiet hello with her down at the stairs and you guys inside. But I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a
I
chance.
just love rolling perception.
Disadvantage, please.
Oh, disadvantage. All right, I got you.
I think an 11's low enough, but I mean, I can roll once more.
Yeah, no.
Mm.
I'm busy. I'm thinking about ghost stuff.
Yeah, an 11's low enough.
Yeah. Anyone else want to? You're welcome to. It's up to you. Belethir's thinking about it.
I don't know, man. That investigation roll earlier was pretty good.
Loving this.
I don't know if I jinxed anybody with that. I'm sorry.
Here, I will be nice. We'll roll for Uki. How about that?
Nice.
Unless you don't want me to.
No, I think Uki's a very aware person who's usually like ready with the guns, you know?
Yeah, I feel
And-
like this would be something that she should roll for. Doesn't she have something where she has advantage on perception, or am I misremembering?
Oh, no, I don't think that's her. No, she doesn't. So that's an 8.
Yeah,
Well, we
no,
tried.
no. Genesis is doing Genesis things.
So Genesis, you do feel very comforted. This is sweet. It's like your sorrows are slowly draining away. It's almost like you're not forgetting, but numb to the pain, and including some of your older pains. It's a relief. It's
Uh-oh.
sweet.
This has already happened once before.
Should I remember that?
It's from Nether's Deep.
Oh. So not this character.
No,
No,
it was
that
this
character.
character. It
Oh,
was,
okay.
The slightly malformed elves that we came across in their little bubble down below the sea.
Well, not malformed. They were original, and they tried to kill us, remember?
Oh, they did make us feel good.
You got
True.
better.
I mean,
And then she sent it right back to you, like in a wave.
so I would remember this assistance, right?
Yeah, this is not this is not an elf, though. I will say that it looks like an elf. It is not an elf.
But I would remember that, like, if somebody's alleviating your pain, then maybe I should roll for that. What did I roll for that?
You know, I will let you role play it. If you want to roll and force yourself to roll, it's okay. But I'm going to let you role play this. As you're thinking about it, though, as you're considering and trying to kind of your mind is like, wait, what's going on here?
My character just wants to be at peace. Like, I don't.
And
I'm
you
aware
are.
that.
You
I'm
are
aware
so
that,
much
like,
at
this
peace.
is. She could be like eating my suffering to throw it back in my face, but like at this point, I just don't want it anymore. So, like,
So
No, get rid of this.
as you're trying to figure out what's going on, she kind of draws back and looks at you once again with that soft, subtle kind of blue-green phosphorescent glow that she has is and this sort kind of warm pulse in her core that almost goes with your heartbeat. You can feel it, and you feel like in sync and in unison. And she smiles at you with this ginger, sweet smile. Her eyes look deep into yours, and there's this love that's there, this genuine, beating love, this enduring, sweet love, as she slowly leans in to kiss you.
Succubus.
Naiad
thought the
succubi.
same
We
thing,
don't fuck
bro.
with them here. We do not fuck with them here.
So, are you going to resist her kiss?
Okay. Okay, well, let
That's
me see.
strong. Some
It's
mental
a strong
strength
roll, but I
here.
don't know what I was rolling for.
You should have thought about that.
I was like,
That's
I'll make
that's
like a
strong
raw.
arm. That's a strong arm. It's
I'll make like a raw
buy me
wisdom
dinner
save.
first. Hey.
I'll make like a raw wisdom save, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is what I'm thinking. But then at the same time, I don't know if it's wiser to let her kiss me or wiser to let like pull back and be like, hey, what?
With the
I don't
20,
even
you
know
do
who you
whatever
are.
you think is more correct.
Genesis is like, I know this is wrong, but it's kind of hot.
My character just was like contemplating the quality of life and the right to die, and now it's like, here you are. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your name is. You just came out of the water. I think Genesis is gonna just like pause and be like, "Hey, wait, what?"
Are you gonna try and kind of like push back, or?
I think my character probably would.
Okay.
Just to be like, hey, wait a minute. I've been comforted before, and it wound up in like suffering. It wound up being a tree thing, and we're like,
And also, I don't know you.
I don't know who you are. I don't know your name, dude. Like,
So are you pushing back physically? Are you saying anything?
I think as politely as possible, we're gonna just pull back a bit and be like, hey, glance into the doorway at everybody else that's in the room.
All right.
Which-
So
Why would you split the party?
as you pull back,
Why? Okay.
that smile kind of increases slightly. Once again, still loving, still caring. And then in a blink, she's on you. She tries to force a kiss on you.
Can I run? Can
Call
I
it.
get out of here?
I need you to give me a opposed strength check, please.
Oh, don't say those words to me. When you say strength, my heart dies.
I rolled a
Beat
12.
a 12.
Gotta beat a 12.
Strength save.
Reach deep inside. And beat a 12.
And on every single one of my characters, I'm always like, if he says the words, make a strength save, I'm gonna pass out. And here we are. Make a strength save.
You got this. You got this.
No. No. No, I don't got this. I think you know I don't got this.
Was
okay?
this the character with Lucky?
Yes. And guess what?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It doesn't help.
Yeah.
All right. So Genesis.
Oh my god!
with blinding speed, she jerks you close, grabs you by both sides of your head, and just lip locks you. Her touch is cold, wet, and immediately as her lips touch yours, you feel something in her mouth shoot into yours. Not a tongue.
Oh, fuck.
Not a tongue. Tendrils.
Oh,
And
fuck.
they immediately go down your throat and up into your nasal cavity, and you feel yourself being just completely invaded by something,
Ew.
and begin to choke as water begins to fill your lungs.
Tentacles? Really?
Really wish I had made that perception check.
Oh my god!
That would have
Same.
been nice.
So you are drowning effectively right now.
Oh my god!
So
Can you scream? Because you should scream.
she
Let me
can't
figure-
scream. She
That's
can't
very
scream.
difficult
Figure out
when
if I can
drowning.
just-
I mean,
Sir,
At
However-
it changes water into air.
Genesis is a certified telepath.
I am mentally yelling at you. What the fuck?
So are you going to use telepathy?
Oh god. Yes.
All right. So let me ask.
Wait.
Let me ask real quick.
Oh
What-
my god.
What is your Constitution score?
No. It's not good at all, okay? Like, I'm a dumpster fire.
That's all right. What's your con?
11?
Okay. You have
11?
wow.
you have just over a minute before you drown.
Okay, I gotta figure some shit out here. Hang on.
So tell me what you're gonna do.
You
said you wanted to scream out at somebody.
I'm yelling at everybody in there. Get the fuck. What is
Alright.
this?
Do you want to actually do a group shout? A mental group shout?
Oh my god.
You can. It'll cost some points, but you can.
Let me freaking. How do I not have that ability? Wait a minute. Because I could push the water out of my lungs, right?
You could try. Your lungs are already filling, basically.
Yeah, I'm yelling at everybody. I don't know. I'm just.
Okay. So let's start with the yelling, since that was your first reaction. Okay.
I don't know what to do
So
here.
what you said is you wanted to send out a telepathic shout to everyone. Okay.
Yes.
So one person is free. Every other person costs a point, and we're gonna say in your panic you're gonna spend them. Okay.
Okay.
All right. But I'm also gonna give you an advantage for spreading it out the way you are. So let me see here. Here's what we'll do. All right, I want to give me a Constitution save.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a +6 bonus.
Oh, I'm gonna need it. Okay. 11?
Oh, wow.
Numbers do not like you.
They don't. I don't know.
In your panic, you are unable to focus enough to send out your telepathic shout.
Okay, so that's, what, 6 people?
Yeah, your points are spent still. That's the bad thing.
Okay.
All right, so you're struggling. She's holding on to you firmly.
Can we hear her struggling?
There's really no noise. She's being kind of held fast.
I'm going to, where's the other one? Where's the other one? I'm gonna throw myself.
Throw yourself?
Yes. This one.
So you're going to use kinesis to try and fly, basically?
Uh,
Or levitate?
I mean, I'm not finessing this. I'm just gonna throw my. I don't know. Get me out of here. I gotta get out of here. I can't be out on the steps drowning. I can't. I gotta get out of here. I'm just gonna throw me. I can't.
Give me a Constitution save.
I'm gonna die. I can already feel it. Okay. Here is that.
Numbers.
Do not like you.
No.
You
no.
are unable to maintain your focus, so that's one more point.
Okay.
You're unable to maintain your focus. Keep in mind, you can spend extra points to fudge numbers.
Can I spend a luck point for that?
Well, I mean, if you have lucky, you have lucky.
Yeah, I'll try that again.
Numbers.
Still not quite enough.
Future.
Right? Still not quite enough. So at this point, Genesis, like, you're struggling to maintain consciousness. Your lungs are filling up with water. You're about to go dark.
Important question.
Yes.
We have multiple empaths in the party.
This is true.
Can they detect panic? It's like raw, I'm about to drown panic.
That's a good
Also,
question.
of note, we've treated it in the past that anyone who has spoken to listener before, like, can just tap him telepathically for, like, absolutely free with no effort. So,
Well, she can tap somebody up free with no effort anyway. The trouble is maintaining concentration.
Can I just
Yeah.
like tap 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 tap? Like, hello?
Tell you what, like, you have the freebie. I'll let you give another try. I'll still make you roll the con save.
Okay.
I will let you add a +1 for every point you spend.
I don't know, man. I had like a stasis thing. I don't know where that
Points
is.
are for spending.
If you want to spend your points, you can.
This is my last chance to do anything. I'm gonna be dead in a minute. I need to not die. Where's the freaking ability for the? Oh my god.
Which one are you looking for?
There's one that like puts a person into stasis.
Are you trying to
And
put yourself into stasis?
Yes. Because I'm gonna die in a minute. I can't.
That is... I'm going to be nice and say that's a bad idea.
Okay.
I'm going to be very nice.
I will spend 2 more and try to yell at somebody. Give me.
Alright, give me... You're going to spend 2 more points?
Yes.
Okay, because a con save +2.
Okay. Come on.
Numbers.
12.
12. 12 is, I believe, the magic number we're looking for. I believe
Okay.
so, yes. Okay. Listener,
Yo.
you get absolute shock and panic from Genesis. Luckily, you made your earlier intelligence save and know where she is.
This is true.
Oh my god!
Mask of obscurity is still up.
This is why I'm struggling with water gills over here. Jesus.
Oh,
But yeah,
my
this
God.
this is not. I'm nervous. This is not. I'm afraid. This is. Dear listener, I'm about to
I'm
die.
drowning.
Please help me.
All right. Listener moves at listener top speed, and he sends out a ping to the party.
Okay.
Quickly, with me, Genesis has found something terrible.
Saoirse is going to whip around and start running immediately outside.
All right. So, everybody who does run outside, you reach the top of the stairs and you look down. You see Genesis at the bottom of the stairs with this strange, elven-figured creature with a lattice-work body of glowing phosphorescence and an internal, pulsing glow, lip-locked with her, just embracing her tightly and slowly dragging her down the stairs into the water. Genesis is kind of flopping around trying to figure out how to get out of this, you can tell. This is what she looks like.
Not good. We have definitively answered the question, is this good? No.
It's Cairne.
This is a new creature, isn't it?
This is a new creature.
One that's not even in the bestiary.
One that is not in the bestiary. I love to spring these on you guys. But yeah, she's touching the water already. So, I will give you guys each one action. And then, if need be, we will enter initiative.
From the top of the stairs, do I recognize anything about this creature?
Never seen one of these before in your life.
No.
It looks elven, but that ain't no elf.
Doesn't have any like familiar. Like, I see it has face tats, kind of. Is that, or is that just?
No, its whole body
lattice work
is like
is
a
a lot
weird
of-
lattice work.
Oh, okay. Mhm. All right. Hey, spooky lady, get off my friend.
You just yelling?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
she.
try to get her attention.
So like she's lip locked with Genesis, and she's kind of looking past the side of Genesis's face at all of you. And you can see the little phosphorescent glow of her eyes kind of move to Az, and then just continue looking at the rest of you as she starts dragging faster into the water.
Saoirse is going to pop an airworm and play a song.
Okay. Red ribbon?
Yeah.
Okay. It does not have an effect.
Jesus.
Non-airwormable.
Saoirse's going to say out, this thing doesn't have a mind.
Ooh, no mind? That's a problem for me.
Am I seeing anything through Greenside?
No. I mean, nothing other than what you're seeing, which is odd, but there's no magic aside from the general ambient magic that's all over the place here. So Saoirse's got the song. Az yelled at her. Anybody else?
Oh, I think Az has an actual action.
Yeah, if you want. Oh, there we go. He's doing a blitz, huh? Oh, you're rushing her, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and tackle them to break the
Yes.
embrace. Try and tackle them apart.
Okay.
And if that means like hopefully trying to get Genesis free, but I'll mostly be trying to like tackle Beastie down.
Are you using a weapon or just your body?
My body.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Cool.
I'm
Plus
sure
some
there's
amount,
some.
I'm sure.
And can I?
Yeah.
How about athletics? So +9.
Well, what's your strength bonus? This is just a raw physical attack.
5.
5. Okay.
Plus proficiency. He's a fighter. He's proficient in melee.
What's your proficiency bonus?
It should be 4.
4. Okay, so 19. That's a much better roll. All right, so you shoulder into the creature, and kind of you hit Genesis too, but not enough to hurt her, obviously. As you're trying to separate them, you hit the creature solid, and as your shoulder, I assume, or are you punching or something?
No, shoulder.
Okay, as your shoulder strikes her, it sinks in to the soft tissue feeling. And does not disengage. Like you literally hit her and sink into her.
Oh, gross. They're not supposed to absorb the impact. Weird. It's like...
Slimy jellyfish
Where's
lady
she?
does not want to let me go.
She's hungry.
Oh, not her too. Oh no.
It's everybody.
Glub, 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 glub.
But you are down there with them now, so. And I'll say if you want, I'll even let you grab a hold.
Yes.
Are you grabbing a hold of her or Genesis?
I'm gonna try and pull Genesis back by, like, grab her shoulders and, like, wrench her away.
All right. Do you have a second action?
I have 2 attack,
Okay.
like a second.
Okay. No, in that case,
attack.
I will allow you to hit for one action and try to yank Genesis away with your other.
Or I could just, we'll call it the action search, if you want it. Like
Well,
an
you have your second attack. That's fine. No. Give me a. We'll do opposed strength.
All right.
You got a good shot at this one. 19. Yeah. Okay. So, you just wrench Genesis out of this creature's arms, and as you do, you see weird bits of tissue fly away from the creature as bits of the lattice work of her body kind of tear away in the process. Where their mouths were connected, you see about a meter's worth of these long, thin tendrils coming out of the creature's mouth, kind of wagging and moving and swaying as they're torn away. Many of them rip off inside Genesis's mouth as she's yanked away. Genesis, you still feel them kind of squirming around in your nose, nasal cavity.
Oh, that ain't right. That ain't right. Doctor! Doctor!
So, Genesis, your lungs are still filled with water. You are still choking and drowning at this point until somebody gets you properly taken care of. It's not an active process at this point, though.
Question.
Yes.
Transmutation changes one thing into the other. Can I use that to change the water in my lungs to air, or is that too focus based?
It is a distinct possibility. It will be a very difficult one, but you can try it.
Well,
Keep in mind, there's a lot of water in your body.
yeah.
Some of it's
well,
even supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna rely on trying my best to get the water out and the air in.
Okay. If he can get you to Wilhelm can save you.
I haven't acted yet.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best within like normal human.
No,
stuff.
you're good. You're good. I'm just saying you may want to let Wilhelm take his action first.
Stuff is wiggling and panicking.
I know you're panicking, and that's completely the right response to what's happening. All right, so Az has managed to tear you away. Who's next?
I would like to try to get over there and start clearing the water out of her lung.
All right, yeah, you can clear the distance and start your CPR, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I need to ask, are you doing the standard clear the mouth and nasal pump, 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 giving breath?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I need you to give me a medicine check to start with to clear the nasal and mouth and throat of the tendrils that remain.
Advantage because of anatomy?
Of course. You are the benevolent. Look at that. Boom. So very carefully, you manage to remove the tissue that the creature put in her. As you're doing so, you recognize the tissue as mycelial in nature. This is fungal material. Give me one more medicine check to begin CPR.
Actually, I would like to do something real quick before I do CPR. I would like to pop an antifungal and then start CPR.
All right. You pop an antifungal.
Yes, I am eating it and then I'm giving CPR.
All right. Give me the medicine check, and then Belethir, I'll get to you next, okay?
25.
All right. You managed to clear the water from her lungs. Genesis, you are no longer drowning. Belethir, you pop your antifungal aura. As you do so, the creature screams in this high-pitched, grating, escalating tone that goes up about 2 octaves in the matter of 2 seconds. It hurts everyone's ears, with the exception of listener, obviously.
Yeah, I don't have those.
And she begins to withdraw. As she is pulling away. But, let's see, I think... Listener, you still have an action?
Well, I do.
What do you want to do? I'm going to give you your action before she tries to withdraw.
The situation seems to be quite handled. I'd like to check if the creature has a mind that I can detect.
It does.
It does. Can I threaten it?
Are you going to try and force contact?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we've been doing this as a charisma check to force contact. I truly forget.
I thought it was intelligence for the psychic abilities.
I'll do int instead. Int is fine.
Okay.
Ooh, that's pretty low. Might not work.
She resists you. You can tell there is an intelligence there. But yeah, she manages to kind of push you out as you attempt it. A rare occurrence.
Very curious.
All right.
Tired of all these other sentient plants causing trouble for me, the sentient plant.
Damn these plants. Let's see. I think that's only Uki left, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna give Uki a pot shot, as she would do, right? Wow.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give her second attack as well. Dang. Alright, so yeah, Uki. Blam! Very speedy reload. Blam! Hits this thing twice. You see chunks of the mycelial tissue fly out as 2 holes just blow through this thing, causing it to screech once again as it tries to backflip back into the water in an insanely delicate and Olympian amount of grace. As you are in melee, would you like to take an attack of opportunity?
I will try. I was unarmed. I haven't really taken a time or a chance to arm.
I'm sorry, do you want to punch or?
I'll punch her.
Okay, that's a solid hit.
So on a successful hit, I can do a Battlemaster superiority, like, trip thing.
Okay.
So it can make a DC 17 strength save or be knocked prone.
Well, she's going into the water either way, so I don't know if prone's going to be too much of an effect. If you want to try a different tactic.
Oh, no, that was really all I had.
All right. Well, she'll flounder into the water rather than going gracefully as she was.
All right, that's cool.
You do feel once again that spongy sensation as you hit her. But yeah, she goes into the water and kind of disappears beneath the surface. You can see her form swimming away with a dizzying amount of speed.
That's not natural. What was that?
Echoes of Freya once more. None of this is natural.
That ain't right. Are you okay?
Saoirse is rushing over to Genesis right now.
She's gasping and choking. Probably gonna have nightmares for a long time.
What the fuck? It was in my nose.
Saoirse's going to grimace like, ugh, that does not seem comfortable.
Why are my tonsils hurting? Do you ever have something way in the back of your throat? Just in there fiddling with your vocal cords?
That's a good thing we're an adult stream. I'm just saying.
Can't say that I
Oh my
have.
God.
Listener is standing there nodding, and then he goes,
I can't say
No,
that I
actually.
have. It doesn't seem very comfortable.
Oh my god.
So,
Even the collective did not trust the mushroom creatures. They refused to speak to us.
I almost had you there, Genesis.
Oh my god.
I just want to say one more time, I love it when you guys separate from each other.
Don't go outside. Got it. Oh my god. Oh.
It's a beautiful thing.
Look, I am the most vocal person for never split the party, but it's what my character would have done. And
No, it was great. This was a great way to introduce this new creature.
Oh. Oh my god. Ugh. Okay,
You
so I'm
didn't go
practically
that
useless
far.
now, just so you know, okay? I have used most of my energy, if not all of it, trying desperately to learn how to breathe water in 3 seconds or less. I'm just gonna go over here and, like, try not to die. Oh my god. Oh.
That was
Have to
great.
get out of Saoirse's hug first.
Saoirse was worried. Just don't kiss her. She's probably not cool with that right now.
Saoirse's like a child by Shawnakesian standards. Why would you put that on a literal child? Come on.
I didn't die. Woo!
You didn't die.
Living.
I almost had you.
Good.
I almost had you. That was a close one.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my
that was
god.
a close one. So, are you guys gonna pull up the stairs back into the embassy, or?
Yeah, I think that would
Seems
be
more
a
defensible.
safer option. Yeah, and I'm not one of those people who wants their character to live forever. Like, if I die, I died, right? Like,
Yeah, of course.
It's a nature of the setting, right?
Okay. Well, like I keep saying, you guys are getting into serious territory.
My fingers were reaching for that staff though, like
But I mean,
start some shit.
it's always been a dangerous world,
Mm.
and it's just getting more dangerous the higher level you get, obviously.
Mm.
But no, you guys pulled that off, and that was quick thinking and ingenuitive use of abilities, and everybody working as a team. Once again, this is why you have survived as long as you have.
Exactly.
So you guys did good. And like I said, it was a great way to introduce a new critter. The Dismalite.
He just walks up and is like, "Here, let me give you a hug. Actually, let me give you a kiss. You're going home with me. Come on."
That was pretty devious. I loved it.
I'm like, "Hi. You're mine now. All right, let's go."
She was going to eat you, and but she was going to let you rot for a bit first.
Nice.
So
This is the nature of the moosh.
yes, and you, Saoirse, because I know you're probably wondering, your ability didn't work because she's deaf.
Ooh, gotcha.
Oh.
This is literally a fungal creature.
That was just immediately what popped into my mind because we've had
Oh, yeah.
so much fail because a creature didn't have a mind.
Oh yeah, no, you did great. That's exactly the reaction that Saoirse would have had. Like, I know this might help.
Yep.
Boom, let me put it out there. So you did great. You did good. You all did great. So you withdraw back into the embassy, kind of let Genesis recover, and I think, unless you guys have any opposing thoughts, we'll draw a close here for the night. It's about
Are
quarter
we
till.
long resting or are we just short resting?
Well, that's
'Cause
up to you guys.
We just had a long rest.
This is true.
My legs are noodles right now. I can't.
Well, I will say there's some big, interesting things ahead, depending on which directions you go from here, obviously. But
I could use a long one, but I don't know if I can convince everybody to stay still for long enough.
not the safest place in the universe.
I just let me get like a nap, man. I don't even know how short rests work in this world, but I just had water in my lungs, my dude. I need to take a minute.
Yeah, you gotta chill.
That's fair. So
I'm gluing myself to one of you. I don't know who it is, but it's one person I'm going to be next to for the rest of this entire excursion. And I hope you're fine with it, because that's what's going to happen from now on.
I'll let you guys.
You know you have one person that doesn't mind.
I'll let you guys let Genesis get a 2 or 3 hours of recovery time, and we'll get you half the points you lost back.
Okay, Jesus.
Okay.
2-3 hours will give us time to role play out a discussion with Az next session.
This is true.
Yep.
But we'll go ahead and call it here for now. It's a little bit early, but like there's some big things ahead, and I don't want to dive in and get stuck, end up going way too late. But yeah, if you guys could carry on or turn around, it doesn't matter. There's big things in store either way, because that is the nature of the world that you live in. But yeah, want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you guys for. I feel like this was a great roleplay session. I enjoyed listening and watching it and facilitating it. I hope you guys had a good time. Genesis, I know that was disturbing, and I'm sorry, but not sorry at the same time. I know the tendrils in your mouth and nose was probably really gross.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
I look forward to meditating on the ability for future water breathing. It's going to be great. Oh my god.
It was great. It was great. So, let me see here. I think we can try this. We'll try it. I'm gonna try a raid. We'll see if this works. It's been a while since I've done this. But anyway, thank you guys very much for joining us. Thank you guys for playing. We'll see you guys next week for Residual Confidential. Wednesday we should be back with Tomb of Annihilation. Thursday Wild Beyond the Witchlight as well. And then Friday I think we're back to Star Wars too. So busy week ahead. Don't miss it. Join us on Discord. And we'll see you soon. I'm going to try and raid these cats after I go to the ending screen. So good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.